Last week we pulled the cucumber plants from the smaller polytunnel, and these vines had grown more than 5 meters long since they were transplanted in early June. The challenge with this type of plant is how to keep the section of the plants producing the cucumbers off the ground so the cucumbers can hang freely but still be accessible and easy to manage in a polytunnel space that is barely 2 meters tall. There are different ways to grow cucumbers, but I usually use a method of pruning them hard to a single growing leader, removing any side shoots that develop, thinning the fruit to every second leaf node, and regularly removing older leaves. This encourages the plant to focus its resources on the top of the vine, with only about 1.5 to 2 meters of active growth and developing cucumbers, and strips bare the older sections of the vine below. I have used a few different methods in the past to try to hang and manage plants like this in a space that isn't as tall as the plants can easily grow in one summer. One method I tried a few years ago was to allow them to climb up the twine, then loop the plant over the top wire and encourage them to grow down, which the plants don't seem to like to do. I've also used a method of drop and lean, or drop and run, which is really easy to use with tomahawks. This is where I let more twine out and move the hook support further down the wire, allowing the plant to grow at an angle and the lower part of the vine to trail along the surface of the soil. This year I decided to try to simply drop or lower the vines in place without moving the top of the twine, gently encouraging the lower part of the vine to form a circle in the soil underneath the rest of the plant. This seemed to work quite well and was easy to manage, and I found that it was useful for growing different varieties or when neighboring plants grew at different rates for some reason. We ended up with bare cucumber vines more than 3 meters long in flexible spirals on the soil out of the way under the hanging plants. The only issue I noticed was a cracking of the vine at the base of a few plants where the vine bent too much. If we allowed the young transplants to lean over a bit rather than tying them up vertically or simply planted them on an angle, this would probably encourage the start of the spiral on the soil surface and reduce the risk of cracking when the stem bent too much when the plant was first lowered. This drop and spiral method is only a slight variation on the drop and lean or drop and run methods that I've used in the past, but I found it a bit easier to manage. We can adjust the plants individually and not have to shift the whole row at once, and we don't need to loop the long vines around the end of the bed. And these subtle changes can make a difference, and it is easier to show other people who don't have a lot of experience in how to manage long trailing plants like this in the polytunnels.